Well, here we are. We are once again sitting down with Phil Armstrong and Nicole Wade. Did I say the name correctly?
Yes. Yes.
They represent United Yonkers, and they're here to talk about issues that they feel are very important and that you need to know, because we need to know your opinion. Please, gentlemen, and Nicole, introduce yourself so people out there know why we're here. Who is United Yonkers?
Hey, good morning. My name is Nicole Wade. I'm a 50-year-plus resident of Yonkers, and I became involved with United Yonkers because of the overdevelopment that's occurring around the city. And our organization isn't against development in itself, but just the oversized development that's pushing out the long-time residents and making the community more, trying to bring in more affluent people into and around Yonkers.
Phil?
Yes, my name is Philip Armstrong again. I've been in Yonkers since 1962, so long before most people probably listening are born. I became an advocate for responsible development in Yonkers when I realized they were building a large building near me, and I started looking at what was going on within the city of Yonkers, and United Yonkers formed. Nicole and I are part of the core group of that. We're 14 different community organizations. And we're here not to oppose development, but to make sure that the people of Yonkers, when development is done, that we are represented. Because after all, many of these buildings go up with funding from our tax dollars that we pay for, and so we have existing residents of Yonkers being forced out of our areas as rents and prices go up. But at the same point, we are the ones that are paying the taxes to fund much of this development.
So before we go much further, let me make it clear that the people, those who are watching us, understand that we at Yonkers Voice don't take sides. We are on this side or that side. We are on the side of the people of Yonkers. We make our platform available to anyone with a valid concern to come and speak about it, so others can engage and express their own opinions about those problems. I talk to many people on the street. I cover many incidents on the street, and most people are not against development in Yonkers. What they have a problem with is that generations and generations of people who grew up in Yonkers are forced to leave Yonkers because they can no longer afford the city where they grew up. Is that a true reflection of what the problem is?
Very true. Very true. Yes.
That's very, very true on both east and west side of Yonkers. Population in Yonkers has become, I think, stagnant now, according to 2023 results. And even the job growth in Yonkers has stopped. 2023 statistics we're looking at now say that there was a 0.47 reduction in jobs in the city of Yonkers. So when we have all these new developments coming in, they're supposed to be promoting more and more jobs and wealth growth for the citizens of Yonkers. And it seems to have stalled, or it's not working, because the way we're going with driving more and more homeowners out and bringing in more and more apartment dwellers. One statistic most people don't know is that the city of Yonkers has more rental units per capita than any city in the area, more than Philadelphia, more than Rochester, more than New York City, and more than Newark. So we have more apartment dwellers, and not homeowners. Homeowners are invested in the area. They're there to look after making sure that the city services that they pay for are provided. And as we get to a more and more city where we have more and more renters, then that influence or that caring on the part of those people seems to have drifted to the side. Our voting statistics seem to show that we have fewer and fewer people coming out to vote in all these elections.
Now, Phil, I see you at the council meetings all the time, articulating your issues. You there as well, right, Nicole?
Yes.
Articulating your issues. Are they listening?
I would have to say a big no to that. They listen while we're there, but are they actually reviewing the comments made by the public? I would have to say
we recently met with one of the candidates who was running his coming election, and he told them that in a meeting with the mayor told him that the city council was handpicked by him, and that he's not
By him, not by the people?
by him. Anybody gets on the ballot in either mostly Democrat or Republican, because they have fingers in both parties, are handpicked by the mayor. If not, then they're not going to be getting any support or do it. And as you see in the city of Yonkers, we have two candidates running for council this time that are not. One is supported by the party, which is Anthony Marante, Republican, in the 6th ward, and Corazon Pineda Isaac, who's running as a Democrat in the 2nd ward. But they're not. She does not have party backing because she's not controllable by those that are in power now. And they want to have, in order to put through all the development they want to do, they need to have control over the city council
And the boards.
well, the zoning board in the city of Yonkers is the biggest enemy the middle class in Yonkers has, because they vote for every piece of development.
But
that
before
comes
we,
up.
go, before we go further, let's clear this thing up, because look, what you just said, Phil, is going to raise a whole bunch of questions.
Right.
We were only told this by somebody that was running.
Okay.
We're not
But-
making it up. We were told this.
I'm not saying you are making it up, but I'm saying what you said is going to create lots of questions. They're going to say, who said that to you? Who is this person who's seeking an elected position? And why is this person saying that? So I'm going to pose the question. It's up to you to answer. Who told you this? That they are picked by the mayor? Because I thought they were picked by the people.
Well, they supposedly are picked by the people, but there's such a low voter turning out in the city of Yonkers, and we have people that vote only by party designation. And in the city of Yonkers, we really don't have a Democratic or Republican Party. We have a strong administration that controls it, and except for two council people, everybody else in the council seems to always vote the developers or what the mayor wants. So if this person wants to come forward and say it themselves to the public, that's it. I'm not going to give their name now, but this is what we've been told, that in a meeting with the mayor, they were told.
So then I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, let me add on to that. It's, yes, we elect these people, but they have backing by the current administration. So someone that may be better qualified, I don't want to say qualified, but has more interest in what the people want and want to represent the people, they're kind of get shut out. They don't get the campaign backing, and then they end up losing. So then we lose someone that will actually support and speak and advocate for the community, as opposed to being amongst a set of elected people who won't vote against what the majority is saying. So that's what's going on.
No, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I don't think it's in the individual's best interest for us to name them when they actively start campaigning. You will know who we're speaking of, but I don't want to affect their position because we were told some not so good things about what he's been told.
Well, my job is to ask questions.
Yeah, no, I understand.
My job is to ask questions. But when somebody tells me something, I always ask myself, why is this person telling me this?
Right.
Where was this person, on which side was this person a few years back?
Right.
Because many of these politicians, because look, I'm not blind and I see what goes on. A lot of these people that might today be speaking against this one or against that one, 6 years ago they were in favor of this
Right.
one, and that very same
You're right.
people that they are now against.
Right.
Why? Because they lost the support?
Right. That's a possibility. That's always a possibility. But with the 2 years that I've been active with United Yonkers, or United Yonkers has existed for 2 years, we have witnessed these things ourselves based on the resolutions that the city council comes up with. There's usually two that constantly, well, I won't say vote against what the other are saying, but more so they at least question things. not blindly say yes, 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 or no against the people all the time. And they usually lose because it's 2 against, ultimately the president makes the deciding vote of this thing, but it's usually 2 against 5. So we're witnessing what this particular potential candidate has said. We've seen this for ourselves in the galleries, not just us, other people who attend these meetings on a regularly as they can.
One example of that might be when we had the proposal by the mayor to appoint a 23-year-old young man to the zoning board. Now, the zoning board controls what happens in the future. They're the strong part of the planning board or the zoning board. When the zoning board makes decisions on variances, and we go to the planning board and we ask them, the planning board throws their hands up and says, there's nothing we can do. The zoning board's already given that away. They've already given away your ability to challenge that. So when this young man was proposed, we got up and spoke. We said, how could this young man of 21 or 23-year-old have the experience to make the decisions, or the life experience, to make the decisions that are necessary to guide the people of Yonkers for the next 25, 30 years, because these decisions are long-range decisions. And one council person heard us, that was Anthony Morante, and he got up and he voted against it. Now, John Rubel and Mike Breen, so you have the Democratic leader of the council and the Republican leader of the council got up and called Anthony silly for changing his mind. The reality is the council meetings are only there to verify what these people have decided in the committee. So when Anthony heard us and listened, he voted against it. So they got up and called him silly. They said, what is this, silly season? So the next meeting I came in with a jester's hat and said that if we're going to have silly season, we're going to celebrate it. Because these decisions on these important, very important boards that are volunteers. These people are volunteers for the city, but within the zoning board right now, we have a group of elitists who are there only to change Yonkers. They vote 7-0 on 99.9% of their things. They're led by Wilson Kimball, who's also the head of Municipal Housing Authority in Yonkers, also head of affordable housing in Yonkers, and her goal to us seems to be to drive the lower income and middle class out of the city of Yonkers. And it's very, very hard for us to explain why she has the conflict between what's going on there within what they do in the zoning board and what her job is during the day. And then we later on came to find that our city council president, Lakeisha, is also employed and an employee of Wilson Kimball's at Macy's. So she's a lawyer at Macy's, and she works for Wilson Kimball's during the day, and her night job or part-time job, because all these jobs in the council are all part-time. They're paid, council members are paid the equivalent of the average income that the people in the city of Yonkers make for part-time jobs. So, for us, going through this for the past couple of years, it's very, very tough to understand how the people on the council vote the way they do over and over and over again in favor of developers. Any zoning change that comes up has to be voted for in the council. And they have to approve it. Any bonds that come up to fund these buildings are voted for in the council. So when we talk to council members, many times they say, well, we don't have any control over that. And we tell them, yes, you do. You're the ones that vote the money. You're the ones that do this. And then they vote for buildings like the Apex project. Apex was built, it turned into one of the highest crime rates in the city. And we went to city council to talk to them. They said, well, we're negotiating with the management. And I said, wait a minute. Did we not lend them the money to build the building? Did they not come out of the city taxpayers' pockets? And you're telling us that you had no stipulation within those contracts to make sure that the city was overseeing these properties? And it's happened in IDA project after IDA project after IDA project, where you find that there's no management, there's nobody there managing the building, nobody running the building. It's as if they're treating these people that are in these projects as subhumans or lower class people, because they don't really want to be bothered looking after them and looking after these buildings. And the city of Yonkers has a fiduciary responsibility to its citizens, the members of our councils and administration to make sure that they are stewards of our money. And we're finding as we're going along that that is not quite the truth. I mean, they give us great lip service, they talk all about, they show up at every food drive, every time they're handing out food, there's somebody there to have their picture taken. But when it comes to sitting down and doing the hard work for the City of Yonkers, we're finding that lacking.
So, United Yonkers, what is the mission statement? What is it your purpose? To address
Inappropriate and irresponsible development, meaning that we are in favor of development that, okay, brings in other people from other communities, but that shouldn't be the focus, and that is turning out to be the focus of our current administration, to bring in people from New York City. We claim to diversify and to bring in income, but you're not caring for those who are already here. There are a lot of programs all around the country where the mayors of cities, the governors are helping like current homeowners revitalize their communities, giving them monies or some kind of tax write-off if you fix your home. That helps revitalize the neighborhood, not tear down the homes, not raise the property taxes, which is going on around the city, and making it difficult for, the buildings that are here. People have generations that live in these buildings. They're redeveloping some of these buildings, and then after they finish refurbishing these buildings, the rents go up, triple sometimes, and the people can't afford to live there anymore. And then they're not given a fair option of where to move to. And I'll use One Glenwood as an example. Their rents are going up. There's an elderly woman who's 87 years old. I believe she lived there 40 years. Her rent's going up by $800. The people that park there, the owner is redoing their parking lot, and the city's way of helping them is having them have to park a mile away at the marina for $150 a month.
Well, that's temporary, right?
It's temporary, but still, $150 a month, a mile away from where you live from. There's uphill in between a park and a museum. That's not really help. You didn't even, if you're gonna help, then at least have a shuttle bus. Charge less money so that the people can have a way to get back and forth. On the other side of town, like all of the storage facilities are being built. We've been at the zoning and planning board meetings, and the people that live over there are like, why are we getting all this storage? We have houses, we don't need the storage. Not understanding that the people that live in the new buildings need the storage. That's why these storage facilities are being built, because the new apartments are very, very small. So that's what the need for all of these additional storage facilities all around are for, because you're not building places where people can even keep all their belongings where they live. So that's not responsible development. That is not at all.
What we'd like to see the city, what we'd like to see the city do more of would be to take the money they're spending on these big developments and build a development that is a co-op or a condo, and then help the people in the communities then mortgage those properties and own it. So you develop a little bit of ownership in the community. I don't know when the last co-op or condo was built in Yonkers, but it seems to be a way to give people some sort of grip on their neighborhoods. And if the city could, and the state and the federal, because it all works in one package, if they can build more condos and more co-ops and then assist people with getting mortgages on those properties, this would give us a better feeling in the city of Yonkers, in the sense that these people would have a stake in the community. And when you have a stake in the community, you care about your schools, you care about your police department, you care about crime in your area, you care about all those issues that are quality of life issues. And then, aside from that, there's another issue within the city of Yonkers, and that's the building department. If I have somebody who bought a house next to me, they gutted the house out, they're waiting 8 months for a building permit. They can wait up to a year for a building permit. Now, you might ask, why does it take so long to process a building permit through the city of Yonkers? All the big developments that are going up, they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for filing fees. They get quick service. It appears to us that the local homeowner, that when they're looking for a permit for putting a new roof on, adding solar panels, doing plumbing work, anything, they are put at the back of the line, behind all the big developers. So when the city offices in the building department, when they find time to get to those small individual buildings, they get to it. But their priority is big developers, not the homeowners. So the big developers are people that come from California, they come from other states. They come in, they invest their money here. When you go to the council meetings tonight, you see the lawyers are usually from someplace out of town, big high-priced lawyers, and we would just like to know why. Quality of life in Yonkers is getting poorer and poorer as time goes on because of what the overdevelopment, the lack of ability to get through to anybody in your city that has to do anything. Now the mayor does a great job of his upline, and that we're not against Mike's family. We're not against the mayor. We're not against the city administration. What we want to see them is to come around more to our perspective. We're here to help the existing citizens and residents of Yonkers rather than just working towards the new big developers coming in. We know they have deep pockets. We know they spread a lot of money around the city. But as I stated earlier, statistics are showing that the jobs are not being built up in Yonkers and that the quality of life is getting much poorer. And who we as citizens then go and blame for anything that's not working in our favor has to be our politicians, because those are the ones that we entrust to appoint people to zoning and planning boards and our council people that come in and represent us. And frankly, our council people, most of them, as far as we can see, they should be taking classes on city development, and they should be learning as they go along. But we're finding that many of them don't seem to understand the ramifications of what they're doing. And it's easy enough for us to pass it off as ignorance on their part, or ineptitude on their part, or incompetence on their part. But the reality is, it's sometimes just closing their eyes to what's going on.
Now, Phil, is your concern with the United Yonkers just about development, or are you also concerned with other qualities of life? So, because let's address that. We understood that the other part, but now let's talk about that.
There's a lot of environmental aspects. For instance, there's an organization called Quieter Yonkers who notified us about the city council's raising up the decibel level to 82, which is extremely high. We have figured that that's probably to allow for the construction noise, because there's a certain time of day that construction is allowed and has to end at a certain. But if you increase the decibels of the noise that they make, then they can continue the construction longer hours. There are air quality issues that come along with just the construction, and then having large buildings creates a heat index that increases. The buildings absorb the heat, so we have a lot of people who are suffering during the summertime worse than they would if there were trees around. They're not replacing trees, they're cutting them down. These buildings, when they come, they're supposed to have a certain amount of landscaping, but a city block of trees replaced with 3 trees that are just to beautify the outside of the building does not help the heat index. It does not help the noise, air pollution. Our infrastructure was not built for tall buildings. Our infrastructure was built for houses. They have not updated the infrastructure, so that's a sewage issue. Our police, our firefighters, they need to increase the staffs to accommodate these huge buildings, even though the buildings have standing pipes inside, and they all have the water sprinkler systems. It's still, if you have a 32-story building, that's still a threat. It's not the same as putting out a fire in a 5-story walk-up, you know. So the schools, they're closing school 25. They're sending those kids off to other schools, which personally I think avoids the federal government's rule against the suit that was in the 80s. Because now I went to a meeting, attended a virtual meeting, and they were saying, well, one of the options is the kids can go to the schools in their neighborhoods. And parents are like, we got to choose a school, and now you're closing the school. Why are they closing the school? I know teachers there.
Infrastructure for life.
Right.
It's poor, but we're building new schools.
Yeah, but at the same token, a person that I know that works there said it's really nothing wrong. I mean, that's her personal view. She's been working here 20-something years. She knows how many structural things visually, at least. But what are they going to do with that building? Is it going to be torn down? Is it going to be refurbished? There's different rumors about who's going to take it over. The key thing is that, like, one woman that was on the video, she said, my kids have respiratory issues, and the school that they're going to be sent to is like 25 minutes from home, and literally they can't take that ride. She has doctor's notes and things. So the part of picking where you're having the choice of picking where you choose children to go to school now is being so it's little other things that are coming with the development that are fracturing the community as a whole. And if you just look at one article about this, it doesn't seem like it's connected, but when you read everything together, you see this is all happening with these large developments.
The other aspect to that too is Yonkers by New York State is considered a disadvantaged community.
Right.
And the special rules that apply to any disadvantaged community as far as air pollution and noise and everything else that comes along. Dr. Bob Morrill from the Ludlow Association was very important in researching this, that Yonkers is a disadvantaged community considered by New York State, so there are special rules they have to apply as far as pollution, noise, air pollution, and they're not being adhered to. And these are threats to our lives. Yonkers, as a matter of fact, Southwest Yonkers has I think a much higher death rate than many parts of the state. I think it's 97%. So we're way up there. But yet and they've gone out with measuring devices, and they've measured, and they found that even at night, normally at night you would think the pollutants are down, but down in Southwest Yonkers, in the Ludlow Park area, pollutants actually rise at night because of I guess probably something to do with the sewage treatment plant there. Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now, in the city of Yonkers, we've done nothing to improve our infrastructure. I know it's huge dollars. It's a lot of money over many years that it's going to take to do that. But we're building a lot of buildings. We're building 30, 40-story buildings on projections. And these buildings now are going to have much more sewage, much higher demand on electricity, and gas, if we get the new gas pipeline, if they put that in. So we have an awful lot of issues in Yonkers that you know are there. Transportation. Westchester County has just come out with a new plan for revamping all of the transportation around Westchester County, Yonkers in particular. And when you read the plan, you'll see that they say that getting from West Yonkers to East Yonkers is not easily done, and they do not have a solution for that. We're building all the development on the west side of Yonkers, majority of it. So if you look at this is what Yonkers looks like on the map. And we have the 6 different districts. You will see each district has 35,000 people, and the west side has 3 much smaller districts because they're much more congested. So we're building all this development on our west side, and then we're saying to these people that our best stores, our shopping is on the east side. Now, how do they get there? You get on a bus and spend 2 hours on a bus with your bucket of ice cream, or your eggs, or anything else when you're going shopping.
Not eggs.
But the point is that that we're making all these great moves according to the city with development, but we're doing nothing to improve our sewers, our electric lines, and our
The infrastructure.
infrastructure. Yeah. So
Well-
it's what can I say?
Well, Phil, we have to conclude 45 minutes. You know, we can go all day long.
Yeah.
But before we go much further, I would like to see you two. Who are you endorsing? We have many people running for political position. We have some that go in line with what you think it's important. Who are you endorsing for?
Well,
And then Nicole.
Our philosophy is United Yonkers. We have our own personal opinions, but as a group, because we represent 14 other community groups, we do not endorse candidates. We are here to highlight issues, but not to endorse. If the candidates want to come and meet with us and speak on these issues, they're welcome to do that. We can have community meetings, we can have whatever, but at this point, we ourselves, as United Yonkers, are not going to endorse either any candidates.
Okay, Nicole, you feel the same?
Yes, because, you know, because we have so many different community organizations that are involved, from the east side, the west side, north, south, each district has their own representation. So for me to say who I would want for my particular district, we live in two different districts.
Okay.
So we don't want to make this political.
Well, I'm just asking
Yeah,
because
no,
people
I
want to
mean,
know.
if this was a different conversation, if it wasn't United Yonkers, I would tell you who I
So
was
then
with,
after the
yeah.
interview, you tell me who you
Okay.
endorse. Phil, if somebody wants to get in touch with you guys, when I say you, I don't mean Nicole
yeah.
and Phil. I'm talking about with United Yonkers to talk about and understand what you think the problem is. Maybe they want to offer a solution.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to learn from you.
We welcome that.
How can they reach out to you?
Very simply, unitedyonkers@gmail.com. That's as simple. We don't have an actual location. We do meet usually at BZAC centers when we have our general meetings. We just had one on the 30th.
There is one coming up on the 19th, correct? No,
No.
there is a meeting coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we, for the first 2 years, we had meetings every month, and we didn't get as much turnout as we would like. We get a lot of more emails than actual people, but we had a nice diverse group that would come. So we're now going to make the meetings quarterly unless there's some kind of emergency. But if you send your email information, your contact information to unitedyonkers@gmail.com, we send out all of the meetings, the city council meetings, any public hearings, the agendas for those meetings for city council, the agendas for the planning board meetings, and the agendas for the zoning board meetings. We send out information how to contact your city council members, planning board, and the zoning board, and any town halls that are coming out. So we try to keep everyone abreast, and any areas of that may be of particular interest regarding development, we will highlight that in the email too, as well as attach the agenda.
On that note, we conclude our interview. Guys, please leave your comments on the thread below. When we post it, you're going to see a thread below. Leave a comment, leave your concerns, leave your suggestions. And don't forget, many of us talk about issues, but when time comes for us to go into a council meeting, into one of your meetings, to voice our concerns, people don't show up.
Yes.
And I think it's very important to be involved,
Yes.
get involved.
But that's our point, that we go to these meetings for that reason, because we know people with children don't have time to do this. If you're running a child sporting events, you're working with families, you're generally working 2 jobs, they don't have time to do that. So we go to represent them. Now, also, we're all big boys and girls here, so if anybody has a comment or anything, we will not be offended. If you agree with us or disagree with us, please come out and talk to us, because we're not here to be just one-sided. We're here to listen. If we're wrong in something, we'll gladly listen to that.
Phil, as I always tell people on Yonkers Voice, I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't care if you oppose the way I see things. All that I care, and I feel it's important that you don't need to be disrespectful to articulate what you think it's important.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they lose track of that. They feel like they need to be disrespectful. They feel like they need to insult in order to articulate. I don't think so. Disagree, but disagree disrespectful. Yes, identify the problem, but also present possible solutions. Articulate your point of view. On that note, we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Phil,
you.
Nicole, if there is anything else that we didn't talk about, one of you do the closing.
Okay, well, one of the big issues right now would be Peter Cohn's noise,
Quieter Yonkers.
quieter Yonkers. And he's got a petition going around. If you want to participate and help your city, please sign on to Peter's petition. You'll find it online. Just look for quieter Yonkers. It'll pop up, and that's it.
And join your community neighborhood associations. They have put in what's going on in the city. We're not involved with all of them there. We're only 14, but there are other ones, and some of the people contact us, and we can all become truly united because all of these issues actually are connected.
As always, guys, Yonkers Voice is not my voice. Yonkers Voice is the platform where your voice can be heard. And where am I today? We are here at Dos Marias.
Yes.
200 New Main Street in Yonkers, without a doubt, the best place for the good Mexican food. Not every Mexican food is created equal, okay? There is Mexican food and there is Mexican food. Here you have the best.
And come for happy hour.
Yeah.
Exactly, and come for happy hour.
And upstairs is beautiful.
Yeah, come and check it out. 200 New Main Street in Yonkers, Dos Marias. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your love. And don't forget, ask your friends, tell your family about Yonkers Voice, and ask them to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Facebook is changing their terms. Now we cannot go live on Facebook for longer than 30 minutes, and the video will only stay up for 30 days. So my suggestion is that you go on YouTube and follow Yonkers Voice there. Check, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, so when we go live on YouTube, you get that notification and you can find out what's going on in our city.
And Yonkers Voice is what's going on in Yonkers. If you don't hear it here, it's not going on.
That's the new line. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Hope you performed as expected.